might be crazy is that I'm just ignoring all the changes of the tune entirely.
Hey there, folks. Today I am here with my buddy Mickey Abraham. Today we are going to discuss this mind-blowing system of chromatic connecting lines that Mickey has invented for bluegrass guitar playing.
Yeah, invented. I didn't invent anything, Hayes. Slowly compiled over many, many years.
You're too humble, my friend. Regardless of that, folks, I think your minds are going to be completely blown by what Mickey has to show us today.
After years and years of playing licks over C chords, I'm trying to avoid a lot of the major and minor pentatonic cliches, but they're cliches for a reason, because all the beautiful melodies are coming from there. You want to not forget what you know, you want to learn that too, and add this into your playing.
It's yes and.
Exactly. So there are only 5 notes for each lick, and this is a big component of the system. What we're going to do is we're going to take a C chord and always connect either the root to the 3rd, or the 3rd to the 5th, or the 5th to the root. Always chord tone to chord tone, and it has to be 5/8 notes long, so if I went down, up, the 5th 8th note has to be a downstroke on the next chord tone. You'll see that your ear is really cluing into the... So I'm going to start way down here on the low E, and the first lick is kind of bizarre down here. It sounds like this. Those 5 notes. If I put it up high, I think it's easier to hear the melodic element. This note should be kind of weird over a C chord. I've heard people like Julian Lage play this line, even Chopin or Disney. So I took that line, super elegant, and put it down here. I'm thinking of this like I'm playing like Black Mountain Rag or something. Yeah. I want to use it in that world. Let's say I did a classic C run like you were just talking about. Wouldn't everyone do this? So why didn't I do that? The next lick I'm going to show you, it has to start on the G. So what we're going to do is pass the G, land there so that I can do this next. So go to the G and play these notes. And now we can put those together.
I see what
and they sound so good separate too. Repeat the G.
Now I'm starting to see the implications of this 5-note per phrase thing. It sets us up to put the next chord tone on a downbeat so we can execute the same picking pattern throughout.
Exactly. It's like an exacting algorithm that works to create lines. It's one way. There's many ways that people do this. There's Miles Davis or Kenny Baker does that. Great fiddle play, you know. There is so much of that decent jazz language in fiddling, which leads to this next lick, which I actually got from Bobby Hicks, and I swear I didn't plan that segue. Well, I call this next lick the reverse Bobby Hicks. When I first learned it, it was from the 3rd to the root. And I actually heard him do it as the kickoff to Maiden's Prayer. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yeah. And then wa na 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 na. This particular Bobby Hicks thing, if I go this sequence of notes, it's a reversible lick. We're going to use it up and down. So in addition to going from one chord tone to another chord tone, you can also keep the algorithm the same by going from one chord tone back to the same chord tone. If we got to the 5th like this, we're on the G string. That's the 5th of the C chord. Here's 2 different licks that you can do that go from the G string 5 notes back to the G string, like this. Which brings out of course, the 6th.
Yeah.
The other one from 5th to 5th is this one. You know where I picked this one up from? The Cotton Patch Rag. It was, I think, a Dan Crary version. And his opening lick was...
I love that you have a lineage to these phrases, by the way.
Right, this is from Bobby Hicks. This one is from the Cotton Patch Rag. We just got to the G string. When I get there, I can camp out there for a minute. So we've reached now the G string, where we had the 2 licks off the 5th, which is the same one we did down here. From there, I'm going to do the Bobby Hicks one from the root. Another thing we could do, which I didn't do on the 3rd and down here, is a lick that's from 3rd to 3rd like this. So once again, I could camp out at these chord tones. Each one of these pieces is so compelling that when you even separate them to separate pieces, can see why it sounds interesting when you put it together. Theirs was kind of connecting some of them together up to where we were. So we have the third to the third. We've reached the high E, and we're ready to do this lick. Now that we've gotten up here, because I'm thinking bluegrass today, another day we'll move it to the closed position. That's where I'm going to stop. I'm not going to go past the 5th fret. Now we're going to go backwards. So from that note, we're going to do a lick that goes from the 5th to the 3rd like this. Classic bebop language, but also country. Country players do that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
At this point, from the E down to the C, we'll just do the reverse Bobby Hicks. I know I'm giving you a lot, but the same way we had a lick that was off the 5th to the 5th, and we had a lick that was the 3rd to the 3rd, here's a couple of them that work off the root that are interesting. Watch this off the root. What?
We're back to that motion. I've seen that everywhere. You're like,
right,
you know.
which means I could do this off the 3rd, like this. It's kind of weird when you just take the lick, like, why would you do this? But in context, after you've done this, dude, what the hell? Now we're ready to go from the root down to the 5th. On the way up, we had this sequence. We could, of course, do this on the way up and down. That totally makes sense. I'm not saying don't do that. But look how interesting it sounds if I do this on the way down. And then from the G, go this on the way up. Just that little tiny idea that's different on the way up than on the way down, again, creates what I think is a beautiful melodic contour. Now we've reached the G string. We could go back up, or we could do but let's say we want to go down. We have all of those bebop things we did here. We could do those again starting on the G string.
Yeah.
I love that one. That is so much fun to connect to this one.
Oh, yeah.
We have this one, which you just played. That was the actual Bobby Hicks.
Oh, yeah. Now because we're descending, we get the prime form of the
real one.
Yeah.
From this root, we have, again, this thing, maybe. As much as I love playing closed position, there is something that I inherently love about... I love the open strings and where they show up. That's a cool lick to me in C.
Yeah, because the 9 is the open string on that one.
Could have also done this. The root enclosure. Remember we had this? We can do that right here. What if you put something like this one together? And then this. So you get...
Yeah.
Dude, what kind of C lick is that? Off the 5th, did we do this? Or...
No, we didn't. No.
So that's these two. We have both of those off of this dude. And... Okay, only like one more, I think. I think we've reached the bottom, because from here, you can do this one. Just do that down here. So you might be wondering, how do I use this in like an actual tune? You know,
that would be the goal, wouldn't it?
Right. What do I do with all this stuff? Let's say I'm playing Whiskey Before Breakfast at a C position. Well, that's 2 measures of a C chord. We just played 30 measures of a C chord. Play literally that lick I just showed you. You know, that could be the first lick of Whiskey Before Breakfast. Let's take it one step at a time here. If I played this right here, from the C, I could do this one. That's probably the most sensical one, because I'm starting on the root, doing from the root to the 3rd, from the 3rd to the 5th, from the 5th to the root. Kind of sounds like a fiddle tune phrase. In fact, if you took 3 of these connecting phrases, you would end up with the phrase length of that classic. anything that's ootin daka, ootin daka, ooh, take 3 of these and you'll get one. So let's say I used that in Whiskey Before Breakfast, because now I'm starting in other places besides the roots. So I'm starting on the 3rd, from there, and then from there, put those together. You have to connect it to F, which you were already doing. If you're playing Whiskey, maybe from there. And then now, one more thing my brain is hearing right here. I don't even have to necessarily take any of these chords into account. So the last line, I could play these lines, ignore all of those 4s and all of those 5s, and just go... and play all 4 measures. No changes are entering my thinking at all. If I want to camp out in a certain place... See, there's always a way to get out of it. There's so many pathways. You can double or triple any chord tone. You can go up, you can go down. Up, down, down. Let's stay here. Let's just stay there. Let's go down. I'm still low, I have to go up, so we'll just keep going up. Let's stay there. Stay there.
And you just played like 30 measures of C, and it grabs your ear the whole time, right? You're just like,
that was never ending C. Literally just in not going, not doing that at all.
That's wild, man. I feel like a like 8-year-old that's been given the like secret to nuclear fission or something like that.
It's taken me years to sound like this, but I kind of in my head have always wanted to have this kind of like sensical chromatic sound where the cool flavor notes are sounding right and melodic. Hey, check out this idea, Hayes. If you were playing something like Billy in the Lowground, you could take that approach to the entire song, because these licks would actually work over A minor. The A minor, we all know, is the relative minor. We probably know this from the major scales and major pentatonics. But these lines, they just happen to be so well thought out, they avoid the B flat, remember. So they actually work over A minor because there's no blues element to them. And you might be thinking, isn't this a blues element? It's not to me. The blues element is this. You know, you might be thinking that these have some blues elements to them. That means that these licks, like this one, A minor. Or watch this.
Minor 7. Yeah. Yep. You're blowing my mind, Mickey.
It's all A minor, too. And maybe not if you're playing like an A minor song, like an actual minor, like a... The reason why it works in this A minor, it's acting as the 6th chord of C. It's the relative minor. So here's what it would sound like. I didn't even think of one change. I'm thinking of it with my ear. You know, I definitely hear it going, C to C, A minor. I hear that where the tag is, but I'm not like, oh, I'm playing an A minor lick. Oh, I have to play a G thing here. I'm ignoring all those changes over this.
Yeah.
Which we do as bluegrass players too. You know, we probably would play something like, and that would work over a booga dooga 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 doo.
Yes.
This is not crazy that I'm ignoring the changes of a tag. What might be crazy is that I'm just ignoring all the changes of the tune entirely.
Yeah, I was going to say it's the most like mindful, mindless way to play over the chord changes to a bluegrass tune, you know? Yeah. Well, Mickey, I cannot thank you enough, man, for rehashing these chromatic connecting lines. I know that I definitely needed a refresher on it, and I could spend probably the next 10 years of my life unpacking the last hour that we've sat here and talked about this. Really appreciate you sharing this knowledge and for codifying this for us, you know, lowly bluegrass people. We get chromatic lines now, thanks to Mickey Abraham.
Hey, such a pleasure. And hopefully it's not the only time. You know, we'll come back and do part 2.
Let's be real, we're going to have to tackle the key of G. People are going to see this one and they're going to be like, I need that G stuff, Mickey. I can't just do this with C.
Yeah, we'll do also G7 another time, because we have to figure out how to play over these dominant 7th chords too.
Ooh, spicy. Well, folks, if you are interested in following along with any of the examples that Mickey played here today, or looking at some of these chromatic connecting lines, check out the link below in the description to some PDFs where you can follow along. Also, go check Mickey out. Mickey, where can people find you online?
Well, you can definitely find me on the Lessons with Marcel channel, where you and I are up to no good there often.
Absolutely. You can see me and Mickey try and figure out, you know, what guitar we're playing, or cut each other with a sick version of Billy in the Low Ground in E flat.
And, you know, you can also check out my own YouTube channel.
Absolutely. Go subscribe. We'll have links down below in the description, people. Also, if you're interested in a private lesson to kind of unpack some of these things a little further, Mickey is a gun for hire. You can find him at lessonswithmarcel.com. We've all got lesson signups there. Go ahead and get on the waiting list, and Mickey would be happy to teach you about chromatic connecting lines in your bluegrass playing, I'm sure. Mickey, thanks so much again, my friend. Peace to you. We'll catch you folks later.